I could almost hear your eyes rolling when you saw the thumbnail. What? He's sold his Trident already? After all the good things he's had to say about it? And you'd be right. Was all the praise I heaped upon this bike a lie, or even worse, a conspiracy? Have Triumph been paying me all along to say nice things about the bike? Allow me to explain. Right off the bat, can I reassure prospective owners and say that I stand behind everything I've told you about the Trident? It's a really excellent bike, probably the best I've ever owned in fact, especially given its price point. However, as a YouTuber I have to provide content that people want to see, and you did want to see what I produced. The figures are there, 10 dedicated videos over 5 months, with a total, as of the making of this video in July 2021, of not far off 500,000 views. So if it's such a great bike and the viewing figures are there, why have I sold it? Well, 3 main reasons. First of all, content. There's a limit to how much you can eke out of any subject matter, any motorbike, no matter how good it is, and I felt that I'd covered just about every aspect of the Trident, save perhaps a very long-term review. Aftermarket accessories are only just beginning to break cover as we sort of emerge from, or perhaps learn to live with, the pandemic, and there's only so much you can say about the Trident. Now I am lucky in that I can shoot these videos against some very nice backdrops in the Algarve, but I can't rely on this alone for interesting content. So to keep the channel going, I have to provide variety. Now quick first rider reviews are fine, but I like to give you honest feedback, and you really only get an accurate idea of what a bike is really like to ride and own if you have it for a few months. I gave you as good an insight into the Trident as I could, but I think it's now time to move on to pastures fresh. The second reason is that I felt the timing was right. Demand for what is still a new bike is high at the moment, and supply is sketchy at best. Component shortages have hit production across the board, and motorbikes are no exception. Reading through forums and Facebook groups, I could see that in many countries the lead times on Tridents, at least in the more popular paint schemes, are anything from 2 to 5 months. With it being a new bike, there's also next to nothing available on the used market yet, and there's still a good bit of riding season left before the winter layoff. So people are basically looking to get their bikes now. The third reason is simply that I can afford to, or rather I can reinvest, or I want to reinvest money back into this channel, because revenue is now beginning to cover costs and depreciation. I'm a long way off being able to purchase a motorbike outright with what these videos bring in, but at least my overheads are more or less covered. An added bonus was that I was able to sell the bike to a friend who tells me he's enjoying it immensely. So if you're watching this, Andrei, bush kurvish. There's also a slight negative reason, well, perhaps not so much a reason as a consideration, and this was that despite my reaching out to Triumph on more than one occasion over the past couple of months, asking if I could maybe attend their press launches, of which there was one only this week in Portugal that I could have gone to, or be given a bike on loan for a couple of weeks, for example, they have declined to get back to me. A missed opportunity, I think, but never mind, bear no malice and all that, and I can at least remain independent and free of commercial influence. Will I miss the Trident? Undoubtedly, I already do, and as I've said in all the videos I've made about it, it really is an excellent bike. In my opinion, the best in its class. I've covered the positives and negatives in previous videos if you want more of my thoughts, but in a nutshell, it's got a cracking engine with plenty of low-down torque, riding position is comfortable, less crouched over than the Speed Triple I had back in 2017, which is great for my aging joints. Simple but extremely legible clock, and perhaps best of all is it's the fact that it's relatively affordable in a market where it's become all too easy to drop 20k or more on a bike. Of course, it would be great if Triumph decided to give us a Trident R or Trident RS, even if I suppose that would push it too close to the Street Triple price-wise. But just for the sake of argument, let's suppose they could somehow shoehorn a Trident R into their lineup with a purchase price of, say, €1,000 more than the standard bike, what would I like to see? Well, I think I'd spend most of the extra cash on some better suspension, particularly at the rear, and some beefier brakes, maybe Brembo M50s for example. Another 10, 12, 15 horsepower would be a reasonable ask too, and nice to have in extreme situations. Minor tweaks, well, maybe a couple more colour options, preferably of the garish variety, would be nice, as Triumph seemed to be going down the path beaten a few years ago by Audi, offering every colour you want as long as it's a shade of grey. I never really got on with the seat fabric either, which I described in one of my videos as feeling like a thick condom. It marked very easily from water stains to temporary imprints from my riding jean pockets, and while it did seem to stand up to normal usage, it would be nice to have some kind of Alcantara type fabric. So I guess the only question now is, what's coming next? Well, I'm ordering the channel's new bike this week, but it probably won't be here until the beginning of September, so don't get too excited. What do you think it's going to be, given all my remarks in this video? Goldwing like TMF, downsizing to a Royal Enfield like Stuart Fillingham, maybe fulfilling my dream of a Triumph Rocket at last? Let me know in the comment section below, and as always, thanks for watching.